The present governor we have, if it was up to him, he'd tell us what we got and, we'd go from there. He doesn't have any interaction.
The falling out with the governor is based around essentially what? The pension issue?
Well, it's the pension issue, but it's also it's all his issues. He has no regard for public safety when it comes to firefighters.
Do not legislate something that should be negotiated. For over 40 years, unions and management have been negotiating. Management gives something to unions, and for the unions to get something, we have to give something up. We have given up over the years. We have foregone raises. We have taken something less in order to get proper health benefits for our members. We have given at the table. We have given at the table. Now you're going to give the local politician a second bite of that apple. You're going to now legislate something that says, you know what? You gave that, you did that, you negotiated for 40 years. We're going to help you. We're going to legislate that you get 35% back. That's 2 bites of the apple. That's not negotiating. That's dictating what's going on. You need to let us negotiate at a local level and stop trying to shove it down our throats in legislation that is bad for the people in New Jersey.
He's putting fear into everybody and wants them to be fearful so they come back and do something. That's not the way we operate. We compromise, we talk, we negotiate. We're talking about people's lives. The mayor is saying there's not going to be a paycheck come, in 2 weeks. The governor's saying, well, if you don't do what I say, tough. Somewhere they need to get into a room and sit down and talk instead of fighting it out in the paper. This is where everything happens. This is where laws are made. This is where legislation is written, and this is where you have over 500 and some odd legislators that you got to talk to try to get legislation moved. And it's across the aisle. I mean, we have supporters on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, and throughout the country. Firefighter issues are sometimes easy to move, but then they're also sometimes harder to move. And that's what today is all about.
We learn more about how toxins are affecting the bodies of firefighters, fire officers. We're able to now make better safety precautions in the gear that we wear, or the equipment that we use, or the procedures that we do. And that's why this study is so important.
We're here today running a 5K race. It's a fundraiser for St. Barnabas Burn Foundation. It's the burn hospital here in New Jersey, where 90% of the burn patients are taken. Firefighters too as well, and EMS personnel. This is our way of giving back to the burn doctors and the burn nurses for all the work that they do for us. With the Thomas P. Canzanella 21st Century First Responders Protection Act is something that the organization has been working for many years. The premise was right after 9/11 when the terrorist attacks happened. And Tom worked on the pile in New York for weeks, coming back after that and then working with the FOP President Ed Brannigan, created legislation back in 2006. Here we are in 2019, 13 long years later, but it's going to finally get its due. This piece of legislation we've been working on for 13 years. It started in 2006. It has gone through the legislature. Twice it was put on the previous governor's desk, and twice Governor Christie vetoed it with an absolute veto, which meant we couldn't do anything with it. He killed the bill. This legislature, with Governor Murphy, worked with us. We were able to work with the bill, change a few things that accommodates those who had some issues or questions about it, and we were able to get a good piece of legislation for all first responders and the citizens and taxpayers of New Jersey. What is the likelihood we have already been exposed and infected with only mild symptoms that have already passed? I mean, how do we determine, if we're not being tested, how do we know if we were exposed or not?
Thank you, Mr. Beatty, for that question. So it's really difficult to know whether you've already, been exposed or even infected if you haven't been tested. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we have is
many of our departments and throughout obviously the state and the country, PPE, gloves, masks, protective gear, cleaning supplies, all that stuff is in high demand. And with our members out there on the fire engines and the ambulances, the EMS workers, the firefighters, we don't have, we're not working in a controlled environment. We're in an uncontrolled environment. So all that equipment is extremely necessary for the men and women out there to do their job safely.
Morning, everyone. I just have some sad news to start with. Dominick Marino, the head of one of our firefighters unions, just passed away. He was a great public servant and just a really great person, and he's going to be incredibly missed by all of us. So to his family and friends, his brothers and sisters in the firefighting service, I'm so sorry.
Wherever a firefighter or a department needed help, you'd find Dominick. He was a firefighter's firefighter. To Ellen, their 3 children, including Rachel, a state trooper in New Jersey, their grandchildren, we thank you for sharing Dominick with us. He will be sorely missed by so many, including yours truly. And to you, Dominick, I know your spirit is still with us, and I thank you for your service. You will not ever be forgotten. God bless you all.
We're going to keep it going next year. We appreciate the support from the assembly members that are here today and the council members that are here today and all the firefighters and paramedics that are here with us today. That's what makes us a union. I'm getting there. You guys are so impatient. See what happens when you let a cop in the room? You know, it is what it is. We have the state troopers here, and we have the FOP here, and we appreciate that too. We've had a lot of other union guys here, and we appreciate that. That's what the union's all about. We step with solidarity, we stick together, we work together to get to what we need done. Cheers to everybody. Thank you very much.